addition to Roddy, you have Isaiah Stevens, who might be one of the most underrated guards in the country.
Yeah, Isaiah Stevens is so poised in pick and roll situations. UNLV defensively needs to be clear in their defensive assignments or he's going to slice them up.
They're pumped up in Moby Arena for good reason. A record-setting year in terms of attendance. It's the best season for fan attendance here in Fort Collins since the 2012-13 season, which is the last time the Rams made the NCAA tournament, place they're trying to get back to, and here they come up with a steal to get things started. That is, of course, the aforementioned Isaiah Stevens.
Yeah, obviously a shaky start there for UNLV offensively. That was just a simple A to B pass and cut. They don't have to play perfect basketball, but they can't make unforced errors like that.
Chandler Jacobs, who has been red hot with a first three-point attempt of the game for the Rams.
And they got the matchup they want here.
There's the lefty, Hamilton. And they're going to call a travel on Royce Hams. Goes up to get Royce Ham. He goes up to get that rebound, something he does oh so well, but then turns it over.
Yeah, that's his first rebound. It's not going to be his last.
Look at Nico Medved in his fourth season at Colorado State. The Rams have gotten better each and every year under Coach Medved's watch.
And he loves this group, right? He's been working with this core group for a couple years now. The only real newcomer on the floor is Chandler Jacobs, number 13. It's his first year with the program.
Deshaun Thomas in and out, grabs his own rebound as he's falling out of bounds, kind of chucks it out of bounds. Good hustle there by Deshaun, and you can see very physical with Royce Ham down low as we take a look at Kevin Kruger. First year as the head coach at UNLV. He's been an assistant for a couple of years, and of course, a player for the Revs the last time they made the tournament.
He's been around the game his entire life. He's been around this Mountain West Conference for many years as well. His first year comes on what I believe is the best Mountain West Conference in many years.
Mike Luga, too strong for the Revs, so early on, but the basket has a little on for both teams.
Nice pass.
Stevens over to Kendall Moore. And you can see Roddy trying to come in and get the tip, but UNLV corrals a rebound. There's Ham with a three. And Royce Ham doesn't take a ton of threes, just 11 makes on the year, but tries one early and a little bit sloppy here in Fort Collins.
Both teams look a little bit antsy. How about the pink shoes and the green shoes from the starting front court of the Rams? Like that.
Another three-point attempt off the mark. That one coming from Thomas.
He's got an unorthodox shot. He barely jumps maybe an inch off of the floor when he shoots it, kind of just a flick of the wrist.
Almost an old-school set shot.
This is the challenge for Chandler Jacobs going against Hamilton.
And there is Ham, a 41% free throw shooter on the year.
Yeah, you mentioned he doesn't shoot a lot, but it's not because he's a bad three-point shooter. He's just judicious in the ones he takes, and that's his favorite spot, the top of the key.
Good take by Jacobs, unable to finish. And he's been a rough shooting start, 0 for 5 for Colorado State. Going the other way. Here's another look at the three from Ham.
Well, folks, we only have one highlight to show you. Both of these teams have combined to shoot 1 for 9. So it was pretty easy which one we were going to show you in the replay.
Yeah, UNLV has not been a great shooting team this year. In terms of the Mountain West, they're last in field goal percentage and last in three-point percentage, ranking 11th out of 11 teams in the conference.
You know, I think they are a better shooting team than their numbers suggest, Dan, but you know, because this is an old team, like most of these guys have experience, they just don't have any continuity playing with each other.
Looking again for Roddy. And here he is from distance. And Colorado State off to a rough start. Now 0 for 6 from the field.
Well, they were trying to post up Roddy in the mid-post, right about 15 feet away from the basket, but the spacing was all wrong.
Here's Nuga off the glass. Rebound staying here, not able to convert. Colorado State.
It's the second consecutive game that Colorado State has kind of gotten off to a slow start. Just a few nights ago against Nevada, they got down early as Isaiah Stevens gets a mid-range jumper to go, and finally the student section can stand up and holler.
Can come to life. Student section been out in full force this year for Colorado State. I mentioned that they're having their best season in terms of attendance in nearly a decade. And that one converted by Awako. Victor Awako, we talked about him earlier, making his first start of the season, missed the first 9 games with a shoulder injury, then re-aggravated it. Thought about redshirting this year, but he's toughing it out.
Kevin Kruger loves his activity and his skill set, his height. A big forward who can shoot, obviously.
Stevens with the pump fake, and all of a sudden, Colorado State making a couple.
Well, I talked about Isaiah Stevens in pick and roll situations, folks. He shoots 50% in pick and rolls. The advanced analytics tell me that. That is one of the best numbers that you'll see in the nation.
Two best players on the court. That's Hamilton being guarded by Roddy. And the ball out of bounds, going to stay here as it goes off of Chandler Jacobs. Who answers the call when Colorado State needs to score a couple of buckets? How about 6-foot Isaiah Stevens averaging 15 a game and helping the Rams' cause here early? Back in Fort Collins, Colorado, where the Colorado State basketball program is partnered with UC Health to honor and recognize Northern Colorado cancer patients. How cool is this? It's the Bigger Than Basketball initiative. They put names of some of these cancer patients on all of their jerseys. The patients were here pregame. They've exchanged letters and notes and text messages with some of the players. Something they started a couple of years ago. They hang the jerseys with the patient's name in their lockers before the game, as you saw. This is one of the cooler cancer initiatives I've seen in the country, and these cancer warriors are here, and they're watching the game tonight.
Dan, this is incredible, and many of those cancer warriors have Colorado State University ties. They're either alumni or they have family who attended, or they're just fans of the program. As Bryce Hamilton gets on the board with a nice drive. Dan, I fight for my mom, Becky Jacobson, who died of bone cancer in 2003. She was only 53 years old, and I miss her every day.
So many, Casey, so many of us have been affected by family members who have passed because of cancer. Great pass down low as the conversion is made by Chandler Jacobs. Jacobs has been playing off the charts his last 5 games.
How about the behind-the-back pass from Tanjay, #1, pink shoes, didn't play last game, is playing through a meniscus, partially torn meniscus, and he's their 6th man. That was an awesome pass.
Here's Hamilton spinning in the lane as he likes to do so often. And that's a little bit short. That one from Stevens, too long, gets his own board, too strong again.
You like that aggressiveness. Those are 2 good shots for him. I know it was early in the clock, but he's garnered enough equity that is defined as a good shot for him.
Hamilton and Ham driving and dunking in the lane for the Rebs.
Well, after 2 three-point shot attempts for Royce Ham Jr. That's more like it. Pump fake, put it on the deck, and use that length.
Jay and James Moores have checked into the game for Colorado State. Pass has Jalen Lake trying to get it to Moores, but too much hang time on that pass.
It was too late of a pass.
And that was not late at all. Royce Ham, ladies and gentlemen, with back-to-back dunks for UNLV.
Man, his arms stretched to the ceiling, but it was a good point by you, Dan. Like, you know, the pass has got to be on point, on target, and on time.
We're going to call goaltending there, as Jalen Lake will get credited with the basket. You like passing, Casey Jacobson? Yes, you do. How about this one? Colorado State on the finish. And this is Royce Ham. Wake up, ladies and gentlemen. Moby Arena, one of the tougher places to play in the Mountain West Conference, and so far so good for UNLV. Been very aggressive here early. Not one of the better shooting teams in the Mountain West Conference. As a matter of fact, they're the worst shooting team in the Mountain West Conference, but things going well so far.
Yeah, the numbers don't lie, certainly, but this team is really talented. We talked about how many transfers, that they have 9 transfers this year, so no continuity, which kind of does mess with your offense a little bit, but we've talked about Bryce Hamilton, one of the top scorers in the Mountain West, and okay, yeah, they're only 5 for 12 to start this game, but they're really aggressive, and that's why they have the lead. And Nico Medved, like, him and his coaching staff, they work on player development. This is one of the best shooting teams in all 3 areas, right? Overall from the field, from the three-point line, and from the foul line. But they have started 0 for 5 from 3 and have yet to get to the foul line.
And then there's another 3. This time, say, wake up to Bryce Hamilton.
Boy, I mean, he's on a tear in his last 3 games, so there is a more confident player, maybe in the entire country, than Bryce Hamilton. And he knows that he's going to have to be great again tonight.
All of a sudden, we have a lot of scoring going on, Case. That's Jalen Lake with the three-pointer. 35% three-point shooter on the season is Lake. 2-point ball game, UNLV on top.
A nice response from Lake, too. He had a turnover in his first pick-and-roll situation. He needed something to go well.
Justin Webster for 3. So 3 straight threes here at Moby Arena. UNLV back on top by 5. Their largest lead of the game.
Wow.
And there was Lake again. Over to Cade, in and out. Battling for the rebound, and Victor Iwaka in his first start for the Rebs, playing tough.
Those kind of shots that Jordan McCabe had on the wing are going to be there for the running Rebels all night. Why? Because we talked to Nico Medved about how you guard a pure scorer like Bryce Hamilton. He says when he gets the ball, wherever it is on the floor, he needs to see 10 eyeballs from Colorado State defensively looking at him. They're going to try and build a wall and not let Bryce Hamilton just go nuts. And so Jordan McCabe and company need to step into some threes.
And there's Hamilton, that sweet lefty stroke. You talked about Jordan McCabe, the West Virginia transfer, one of the X factors in this game. We know Bryce Hamilton is going to get his buckets, but Mike Nuga and McCabe are 2 players that Coach Kruger said, listen, we really got to get them going early. Here's Moore's going to work down low. Nothing going. Moore's was great against Nevada, really doing it all. A starter last year. Had to play a little bit more with Deshaun Thomas in foul trouble. And he was excellent defensively. Chipped in 8 points in that game as well. Tough shot for Hamilton.
You know what's interesting is you see Bryce Hamilton loves that. He's left-handed. When he drives to his right, he loves the step back to his inside shoulder. And he tried to push off on David Roddy. He didn't go anywhere because David Roddy's too big. He's like a wall. You can't move him.
He is thick. 10-plus minutes into the game here. They go to Roddy. Spinning on the baseline. Got a little too deep, but he was bailed out by Wako.
I'm not sure I like this foul call, because I thought Awako did a really nice job of kind of stuffing him in a closet. You mentioned it, Dan. He didn't have an angle, and he just jumped right into the defender. Not sure what you're supposed to do defensively. You can't just get out of the way. Right here it is, the spin, and then watch. He jumps right in. That, to me, is not a foul.
That's a good point. I think Nike held his position, and surprised we didn't hear anything from the junior and Oklahoma transfer. And we are moving on. Look at the numbers for David Roddy. He has been everything for Colorado State this year.
The numbers are up in almost every single category. I mean, he obviously spent some time in the offseason. I mean, every player spends time in the offseason, but obviously he spent time on the right stuff. And he's now a much improved perimeter shooter. We'll see that as this game goes along. Just a handful to guard.
Inside, and then the finish for the Rebs. Nice passing and nice finish by David Muwaka.
Well, here's the problem. So this was Deshaun Thomas, number 11. He helped out. He was the big. He helps out on the pick and roll, but somebody's got to help him on the backside, right? You can't double team Bryce Hamilton and then just expose your defense on the weak side.
Deshaun Thomas and Roddy working with the ball screen. Short by Roddy. Jordan McCabe on the point for UNLV, coming off back-to-back double-figure games for the first time this season. Here's Hamilton, fouled as he makes the shot.
And do they follow his lead or what? Bryce Hamilton continues his white-hot shooting the last 4 games now. Yeah, bad foul there from Chandler Jacobs, who's done a nice job. His energy's been up. He's doing the best he can. Guarding Bryce Hamilton is more than a one-player job, to be sure.
That is absolutely what Nico Medved said when we talked to him earlier today. He is almost impossible to guard one-on-one. One of the best pure scorers in the conference. Roddy skips it across. And Isaiah Rivera converts his first 3 of the game.
One of the underclassmen that gets some minutes for Nico Medved's rotation here is Isaiah Rivera. He's a sophomore. How about that skip pass from Roddy? Right into the shooting pocket.
Hamilton driving and hitting. Hamilton now with 12 points to lead all scorers in the game. UNLV's lead up to 11. Look at that scoring run, 13-4, as we are coming up on 4 minutes.
And UNLV is missing some key pieces, and yet they've still come out. I think they feel like they're loose and free. No one expects them to win this game.
Talk about those key pieces. Donovan Williams, Josh Baker, Marvin Coleman all out. Really only playing with an 8-man rotation. And so far, so good. Led by one of the best scorers in the country, Bryce Hamilton. Keeping UNLV very much in the mix as they lead by 11. How about this? An 11-point lead for the Rebs. They're coming off, a rout down there at San Diego State, 80-55, really wanting to bounce back, and they had to do it without 2 guys who have started double-digit games this season, and Donovan Williams and Josh Baker also missing Marvin Coleman, so they're playing with a short bench tonight.
Yeah, Donovan Williams is their second leading scorer. He shoots 44% from 3. He's the only other guy besides Bryce Hamilton who averages double digits. But the good news, if you're a Colorado State fan watching this game, you've seen your team get down before. That's a disturbing trend, but you know that they have the toughness and the skill to get back. We just did their game a couple nights ago against Nevada. Slow start in the first half, similar to this one.
Isaiah Stevens trying to get him going. You saw Coach Medved, that ribbon on the sideline, part of the Bigger Than Basketball Cancer for Warriors initiative, and he is honoring his uncle, Al Medved, who is battling cancer, as we look at the numbers for Isaiah Stevens. We saw this in the Nevada game. They will heat up, but UNLV answers right back. Justin Webster with the triple.
His second triple of the game.
Justin Webster, the Hawaii transfer, was Hawaii's leading scorer last year. You talk about the number of transfers on this roster. There are 9 transfers, 8 from Division I programs. Tough shot by Roddy, who's off the mark.
The defense from Royce Ham Jr. on David Roddy has been superb so far. Roddy with just 1 point, and he tried to bulldoze Ham. He went nowhere, and he forced a fadeaway off of one leg. They will invite Roddy to shoot that shot anytime he wants.
There's Keyshawn Gilbert, the freshman, pump faking, trying to draw contact. And the shot clock runs out. We talked about those transfers. Donovan Williams coming over from Texas. Listen, only average about 10 minutes a game, as did Jordan McCabe at West Virginia. Royce Ham at Texas as well. When you transfer, you expect to get more minutes, you get more production, and for all 3 of those guys, that's been the case.
We're in the transfer, the happy world of college basketball right now, obviously, right? Isaiah Stevens misses a wild attempt to the basket. Everybody, if they're not playing right away, then they're ready to move on to the next spot. And with this COVID situation that every program's dealing with, the NCAA granted 3 years of eligibility for everybody last year, and also they granted almost everybody a transfer. Normally you have to sit out. That's not the case.
Reverse attempt by Kendall Moore doesn't go. And it's still an 11-point UNLV lead with under 5 minutes to go here in the first half. UNLV shooting 54% in the game to just 35% for Colorado State.
And Bryce Hamilton not in the game right now, getting the rest. He averages 33 minutes a game, so I expect him to be back shortly.
Moby tries the wraparound pass to Muwaka to no avail. An offensive foul called on Chandler Jacobs. That was Gilbert stepping in and taking the charge.
No, just trying to do a little bit too much. Chandler is super aggressive. And that was one of the easiest calls that a referee has. Sometimes I feel badly for referees. The block charge call, it's so bang bang, it happens so quickly. But that one, I mean, he was set well in advance.
Second foul of the game for Jacobs.
Hamilton back in, number 13.
Down low, he is fouled, and Muwaka converts for the Rebs. So 13 could be a 14-point game.
I've been so impressed with Royce Ham. That was his pass to Muwaka. Royce Ham's been everywhere. He's been rebounding, he's been scoring, he's shot threes, he's dunked at the rim, he's defended David Roddy. And for as good of a scorer as Bryce Hamilton is and how valuable that is to the running Rebels, Royce Ham Jr.'s done just about everything else.
David Muwaka graduated high school in Hong Kong. He went to the Athlete Institute for Basketball in Canada. Started his college career at Lamar, where he averaged almost 3 shots per game. And now he's with UNLV, one of those little transfers we talked about. And another shot in and out for the Rams.
That's a good shot for John Tonje, though. In their super 6-man, they're happy to have him back. Nico Medved wants him to get into a rhythm as quickly as possible.
Tanjay announced on Twitter that he had torn his meniscus and was going to play through that and have surgery after the season. Not an easy injury to play through for John Tanjay, and not an easy game so far for Colorado State. The run and Rebs all over the Rams here at Moby Arena. Smile, selfie time. UNLV trying to do something that nobody has done this season. That is beat Colorado State on their home court. So far, so good. February 6th, a storied venue that has seen everything, but has never seen anything like this. NASCAR coming to LA and the Coliseum for the very first Busch Light clash at the Coliseum. Sunday, February 6th, only on Fox.
Well, Dan, this is footage from my dash cam run, my practice run earlier today. It was really fun. I had a good time.
I didn't get invited, Casey. I didn't get invited.
It's just a bunch of left turns. No big deal.
That is awesome. I don't know if you've ever been in one of those cars before. I have way back in the day as a young sportscaster in Florida, rode around Daytona. It's enough to make your heart drop. Tough shot. And I'll tell you what, UNLV, Justin Webster hits that runner, has almost doubled up the Rams here early. UNLV shooting 56% from the floor. And here's Stevens. Roddy trying to follow and then just he shoved Royce Ham out of bounds right in front of the official. I don't know how you missed that.
That was crazy. The Ham wants the ball.
Here's Hamilton, step back three, got it! 37 on the board for UNLV, an 11-0 scoring run. And they now have more than twice as many points as a Colorado State team that is one of only 2 teams in the nation with 1 loss. The other, of course, top-ranked Auburn.
David Roddy's got to get a touch here. He's 0 for 3 from the field. Maybe an isolation situation. Here he passes it. I appreciate the unselfishness, but he's got to get the ball.
Stevens hitting a much-needed 3 for the Rams. His second 3 of the game, and Stevens has 10 points in the game, and he's the only one that's really been able to get much going offensively for this Colorado State team that is coming in 16-1.
Jalen Lake has 2 buckets off the bench, but you're right. I mean, besides Lake and Isaiah Stevens, nobody has a rhythm for Colorado State. Yeah, I love watching Isaiah Stevens play. A junior, total stud. Plays the most important position in all of basketball and plays it well. And wouldn't you know it, one of the weird things I saw in the game notes, Dan, Isaiah Stevens is shooting 71% from 3 in his career versus UNLV. I don't know what that's about. Maybe somebody stole something from him before he plays them, but in his 4 games, he was 15 for 21 from 3, and tonight he's 2 for 4.
You can obviously see the frustration here for David Roddy down low. This is what we were talking about earlier. Just shoves him out of bounds, and the ref is right there. A frustrating start here for Colorado State.
Well, you know, offensively, yes, but defensively, it's got to be frustrating as well. We talked about their slow start against Nevada. You know, Colorado State did a nice job defensively against Nevada star Grant Sherfield. He was just 6 for 15 from the field overall. He only had 3 assists. It was one of his worst performances of the season for Grant Sherfield. They have not carried that over to guarding Bryce Hamilton tonight. 15 points already.
Well, and this isn't going as planned, even for UNLV. When we talked to Kevin Kruger, he said 2 guys we really need to make a conscious effort to get going are Mike Nuga and Jordan McCabe. Neither has scored a point so far.
That's a good point. This is a matchup zone. Didn't work.
Wow. Hamilton is on fire. 18 points in the game, 4 3-pointers. and it's a 14-3 scoring run.
And he's coming off back-to-back 30-point games. That's the first time a UNLV player has done that since Marcus Banks in 2003. He's on his way to a third back-to-back game unless Colorado State defensively can figure something out.
Here he is getting the rebound and then called for the foul. He swung around and caught Roddy with the elbow. Here's another look after the three-man. This is a deep step-back three.
Dan, you cannot play defense with your hands in your pockets against Bryce Hamilton, and they're going to look at this on the monitor, that elbow. And it's probably going to be a flagrant 1 foul on that. 2 shots in the ball for Colorado State. But going back to guarding Bryce Hamilton, look, you know, a guy who averages 20 points a game, it's hard to stop no matter what you do, but you got to have a hand up early. Here's one more look at, yep.
Yeah, he wasn't just swinging the elbows around. It kind of came off the ball there, so I'm going to be curious to see what they give him here.
Yep, not a natural basketball play.
But he's been phenomenal as Hamilton, and it's funny, when we talked to Coach Medved, he said, listen, he can score, he can go off for 20 and a half, and that's basically what he's done here in the first half for the most part.
Yeah, Nico called him a pure scorer, and you know, what's the difference between a scorer and a shooter, right? And I think the difference is a mentality. Shooters define their value by their jump shot. Is my jump shot from 3 going today? A scorer doesn't need their jumper to put up 20, 25 points. They get to the foul line, they can post you up, and then if their jumper is going, then they're gonna blow up for 30 like this dude has in the last 2 games. And tonight, he has taken this offense on his shoulders. Baseline out of bounds plays are most likely going for him. And he is top on the totem pole, and the UNLV Running Rebels are feeding him the ball right now. But I've also mentioned Royce Ham Jr. has been really, if Bryce Hamilton is the Batman, Royce Ham Jr. has been his Robin so far tonight.
Ham been very efficient, only taking 4 shots, but he's made 3 of them. Has a couple of rebounds, good passing as well for Royce Ham, the 5th-year senior from Houston and the Texas transfer, one of the top rebounders in the nation, as we're still waiting to sort things out here. And look at Hamilton, who actually tested the NBA draft waters, and he entered the transfer portal. So Kevin Kruger said he didn't even know if they were going to have Hamilton back this year.
And then he just receives a phone call and says, hey, coach, I'm coming back. That's all he said. I'm coming back. And Kevin Kruger said, let's go, right?
Yeah,
Can you imagine this team, UNLV, without Bryce Hamilton? I mean, try to imagine them tonight without him. Look at his scoring over the last week. Incredible.
Yeah, it really has been. You know, they did get thumped by San Diego State, but it was those 2 games prior you're talking about against San Jose State. He had 30. Against Air Force, he has 32. And by the way, that San Jose State game, he didn't make a bucket until midway through the first half, and he finishes with 30.
Yeah. By the way, they did call a flagrant foul, so Roddy gets 2 free throws. And why is it important? Not just 2 points for Colorado State. Roddy gets to see the ball go through the basket.
And that was way too easy for Jalen Lake. A freshman from Waxahachie, Texas. Second leading scorer for Colorado State in this first half with 7 points.
2 UNLV defenders went with Roddy and left Lake wide open. Jordan McCabe did not throw the ball to Bryce Hamilton. He was wide open.
McCabe with a tough off-balance 3. They're calling the foul on Webster. Or Rivera, rather. Well, they're saying it's out of bounds off.
That was definitely off Colorado State.
It's a 15-point lead for UNLV. Still smiles on the faces of Rams fans because they have been here before. We talked about it earlier. 4 times this year, the Rams have come back from double-digit deficits. Just their last game against Nevada, they were trailing by 10 at halftime. Another three-pointer for Hamilton. Give him 21 in the first half. He's 5 of 7 from distance.
You cannot let him even shoot a three. Anything else, make him put the ball on the deck, bring a secondary defender. They're giving him too much space on the perimeter.
One last possession for the Rams. Stevens as Roddy and Ham are mixing it up for a rebound again. Whistle's blown. And you can see Roddy just shaking his head as he walks down the court. What is going on here, he's asking himself.
He's going to crash the glass on the left side of your screen. And again, he shoved. You see that the two arm was a little one. But Bryce Hamilton's looking at the referees, and they did catch him. I think the referees owed him one.
The largest lead of the game for UNLV was 19. We're sitting in an 18-point lead for the Running Rebels. Halftime here in Fort Collins. Stay tuned for the halftime report with Rob Stone and Jim Jackson. UNLV off to one of their best starts of the season, due in part to Bryce Hamilton. 21 points in the first half, the most he has ever scored in the first frame of the game. As we take a look at the numbers, the Rebs red hot. Look at that, 8 of 15 from distance. Second chance points in their favor, and they are out rebounding the Rams almost 2-1. Royce Ham chipping in as well, bringing the physicality for UNLV. It's an 18-point lead at halftime. What a start for the Rebs. An 18-point halftime lead for UNLV over a Colorado State team that hasn't lost a game at home and started 16-1, the best start in school history. But Bryce Hamilton wanted none of it. 21 points in the first half, the most he's ever had in his career.
Oh, he's been brilliant. And he had back-to-back 30-point games last week against Air Force and San Jose State. He's perhaps on his way to a career high, and this one, his career high is 35. He did that in 2020. But they've done a really nice job defensively on making David Roddy take the shots that they want him to take. The Rams leading scorer at nearly 19 points a game has yet to make a basket. He did get hit in the face right here, and he got mad, but then it led to this foul. Nothing going right for David Roddy. Now, Isaiah Stevens has 10 points to lead the Rams, but can't imagine that Colorado State comes back to win this game without David Roddy waking up offensively.
Yeah, opposite ends of the spectrum, and we have seen slow starts before from David Roddy. We talked about in the first half. There have been 4 games they have come back and won that they've been down by double digits. But this is surprising to say the least, especially here at Moby Arena, a place they haven't lost all season.
Haven't lost all season. They only lost one time last season to Boise State. And the student section here and the Ram, they don't know what's going on. But that's why they play 2 halves of basketball. They trust this team will come back and fight.
Moby Arena, not the biggest place, but it is packed to capacity. And the fan support has been outstanding for the Rams. They're going to need all the noise they can get to come back from 18 down in this one. UNLV off to a great shooting start. 58% in the first half. The Rams shooting just 32%, so you know that's going to turn around. The Rams the best shooting team in the Mountain West Conference.
Yeah, they can shoot it from 3. They haven't got to the foul line very much. They are the best free throw shooting team in the Mountain West Conference, and just 3 for 4 from the foul line. All 3 of those makes by David Roddy. It's the only points that he has in this game.
And you have probably noticed on the back of the uniforms, we keep talking about David Roddy, yet it says Valdez on the back of his uniform. This is part of the bigger than basketball cancer initiative, in which cancer warriors, patients who are battling or have battled cancer, are here at the game. And their names are on the back of the Colorado State players' jerseys. After the game is over, they will be given these jerseys. The players have communicated with them. They were out on the floor pregame. a very, very cool thing that Colorado State as a program is doing here to help out a kid.
Oh, it's incredible. They call them cancer warriors, and they're patients that are either currently battling or formerly have battled this horrific disease. Really nice way to honor all of those people and let them know that we're supporting them.
And it is a battle on the court tonight for Colorado State, but Isaiah Stevens, similar to how they came out earlier in the week against Nevada, makes the first three to try to chip away at that 18-point lead.
And there's something about playing against UNLV that lights Isaiah Stevens' fire. He's shooting 71% from three in his 4 career games against the Runnin' Rebels, and that number's just going up tonight.
Hamilton remains hot in the second half. His 6th three-pointer of the game.
How does he even get an open look? That's Chandler Jacobs, number 13, guarding the hottest player in the nation right now. You can't leave him, not even for a half second.
Stevens tries to split that double team. Mike Nuga called for the foul.
He is 6 for 8 from 3. How is Chandler Jacobs not right in his hip pocket? You no longer have any help responsibility. If you were guarding Bryce Hamilton, I don't care what coach told you in the scouting report. He's got 6 threes. Guard him.
And then that one blocked by Ham, put in by Stevens, and Stevens is the one consistent offensive threat. Now has 15 for Colorado State. Nobody else has more than 7.
Stevens having a great night, but they are trading baskets right now with UNLV with no end in sight. I haven't seen Colorado State defense get shredded, but one other time, San Diego State did it to them, and they beat them by 30.
Turn around by McCabe, his first bucket of the game.
He's an important part too, right? If he gets going, he's a good point guard who takes care of the ball, knows his role, but can score.
He was the only other player other than Bryce Hamilton in that loss to San Diego State who was in double figures. Good look down low. Stevens fouled hard. That was Roddy delivering the ball as Stevens trying to shake this off.
Unselfish play by Roddy in the post. He's so good at finding cutters. Oh yeah, he just felt right on the back of his neck.
I wonder if he took an elbow in the back of the head too. It was kind of right under the armpit there, and he took all the weight of Royce Ham, all 225 pounds. Stevens going to the line where he's one of the better free throw shooters on this team, 89% on the season.
He is the best in the conference. Might as well just chalk it up for 2. You know, Isaiah Stevens, to me, he's playing with a purpose and a drive to get back, to get to an NCAA tournament. And he said that last year's Selection Sunday was one of the most disappointing nights of his young life, that the team was gathered in a hotel room in Las Vegas after losing in the first round to Nevada. And they want to get to the tournament this year. They played in the NIT last year. That's not good enough. They don't want the 3-letter tournament. They want the 4-letter one.
Back-to-back 21 seasons for Colorado State. Here's McCabe in and out. Nuga battling down low for the rebound. Back out to McCabe. And he's off the mark again.
Not a good shot there. A contested 3 right in front of the bench. How about get Bryce Hamilton a touch?
That was all started by Stevens, and Colorado State finally starting to make some buckets. Good ball movement by the Rams, and converting the three-pointer is Deshaun Thomas. Still a 13-point ball game. Colorado State chipping away at that 18-point halftime lead for UNLV, due in part to Isaiah Stevens. Atlanta Rebs head coach Kevin Kruger called him the most underrated guard in the country.
Well, that's high praise from an opposing coach. And what you notice about Isaiah Stevens is all of these shots, Dan, are within the flow of the offense. He's just taking what the defense gives him And it's been really impressive. Look, just kind of hanging around, being shot ready. He's got 17 points tonight, 3 of 5 from deep, and also 0 turnovers. That's an important number.
Moby Arena in Fort Collins, Colorado, packed to the gills tonight. Dan Helly, Casey Jacobson with you. As we have mentioned already, Colorado State has yet to lose on their home court this season. And right now, UNLV, a team that has struggled to consistently win ball games this year, now up by 16 after the three-pointer from Mike Nuga.
Colorado State has decided defensively to go to zone, and Bryce Hamilton just kind of parked himself in the middle of the lane, and because he drew so much gravity, UNLV was able to step into another three-point shot.
Chandler Jacobs picks up his dribble. Isaiah Stevens with the ball, now 5 to go on the shot clock. Trying to do some work on McCabe just inside the three-point line. Not my favorite shot in basketball.
That wasn't a great shot. David Roddy was just standing in the corner, again without a touch. This Colorado State offense is lost right now. Stevens is good, but everybody else, they look shaky.
And loses the ball for a second. And it's corralled by Nuga. And Hamilton, fouled on the three-point attempt, will be going to the line again, trying to add to his game-high 24 points. There is no let-up in this UNLV team tonight here in Fort Collins. They are continuing to make buckets.
This is Chandler Jacobs, and he's got the unenviable task of guarding Bryce Hamilton. As he starts to run, Chandler Jacobs, this is too much space to allow, but he doesn't go over the screen. He goes under this screen. For what reason, I am not sure. You need to be connected in his hip pocket is what they call it. This is lazy. He goes underneath, and then he fouls. He compounds his mistake by, first of all, letting Bryce Hamilton catch it. The second, he compounds his mistake with the poor closeout, sending the hottest player in the country to the foul line for 3. Colorado State has got to be better. Chandler Jacobs got to be better. But again, it's not just him. To guard a guy like this, it takes 5 guys.
Bryce Hamilton with 21 points in the first half, the most he has ever scored in his college career in the first half, makes the first of 3 free throws. There is a look at a disappointed Chandler Jacobs, who actually has been playing great basketball over his last 5 games, averaging 9 points and almost 7 rebounds per game. Hasn't missed a free throw in that span. A lot of those very important shots in the last couple of minutes of games. But outside of Stevens, nobody really able to get into a flow for this Rams on offense. And it seems to be carrying over on defense as well.
Yeah, that's not what you want. You don't want your offense to dictate your defense, right? But right now, Colorado State finds themselves in this position because defensively, they have not been ready to play, and they haven't made the proper adjustments once Bryce Hamilton starts lighting you up. I haven't really seen a change, energy-wise or tactically, from the players.
Stevens dumping it off down low to Thomas. Thomas is fouled. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. The 19-point lead now for the Runnin' Rebs is their biggest lead of the game.
With that pass in midair, Isaiah Stevens changed his mind midair, which is a risky play, but obviously he knows what he's doing. And Deshaun Thomas, Deshaun was recruited by Eric Musselman at Nevada. He verbally committed to Nevada. Of course, Eric Musselman then leaves because he's offered the Arkansas head coaching position, and Deshaun says, all right, I'm gonna go be a Ram, and it's really worked out. He's been a valuable cog in the wheel, right? Because he doesn't play like David Roddy. They need some height. He's provided it, but he can also step out and shoot it.
7 points, 4 rebounds per game. And you mentioned the shooting, 46% from the big fella from three-point land.
Some full court pressure here to try and change it up.
It's Kendall Moore on McCabe.
Stevens now, number 4, has got the task. No help responsibility against Hamilton. Just stick with him.
Step back from McCabe just beyond the foul line. And again, McCabe just 1 of 6 from the field. Here's Roddy, a couple of spins, strong take, and he's fouled on his way to the hoop. That was an angry take.
That's the best way to describe it. Trust me, partner, I have been here before. You're so frustrated that you just want to take it out on the rim. But an excellent job. They called that foul on the ground, though, so no free throws. Did you see David Roddy just slam into Royce Ham on purpose? He is really angry and playing physical. He needs to be careful, though.
Here's Roddy here looking for somebody to pass to. Shot clock winding down here. Tough shot for Rivera. And not a great possession by Colorado State. UNLV has been ebbs and flows this season for the Runnin' Rebels. We talk about all those transfers that were in here. They started the season with 3 wins, and their schedule got tougher. The losses piled up. They lost 5 of 6 before winning 4 straight. And this would qualify as one of, if not the biggest win of the season, if they're able to pull this out here at Moby tonight.
Oh, no doubt. This is a quad 1 opportunity according to the net rankings. Net stands for NCAA evaluation tool. Colorado State's a top 30 team in the net. Jordan McCabe.
He's just 1 for 6 before that, but you wouldn't notice. He just continues to be aggressive and look for his shot.
They wanted to get him going early. He didn't score until late, but finally he's starting to heat up a little bit. Roddy with the pass down low, and Moores is fouled. He'll go to the line, try to get 3 points the old-fashioned way. But back to McCabe, a much better three-point shooter this year than he was the last couple of years at West Virginia, where he just made 20% each year. Here's Roddy.
Really nice dish. We talked about Roddy being frustrated. Thought he was going to force that ball up. Instead, he made the right play, showing some maturity there. And James Moore is the sophomore who started a lot last year as a freshman, but has had to kind of adjust his role a little bit with the emergence of Deshaun Thomas. Has been content with his 6th or 7th man position on this team. He stays ready for whatever minutes he's get.
And Victor Iwako checking back into the game. Moore's the redshirt sophomore from Auckland, New Zealand. In and out on the free throw, so it remains an 18-point game. Same deficit that we were sitting on at halftime. Working off the ball screen up top. He hits again. Bryce Hamilton, 7 threes on the night. He can't be stopped.
I mean, you know, this is what we talk about when you talk about pure scores. What is a pure scorer? Just watch Bryce Hamilton play. He doesn't just jack up shots. At least he has in the last 2 weeks. He's been efficient. Over 50% in his last 4 games, and he's putting up incredible numbers. Sizes up. James Moore is right there, the 6'10" power forward. You don't want to switch ball screens against Bryce Hamilton and then leave your big on an island.
David Roddy stepped out of bounds. Did not know where the sideline was. That's how bad things are going for Colorado State right now. Bryce Hamilton has hit 4 3-pointers in a game 3 times this year. He has never hit 7.
He's 10 for 15 from the field.
That one a no-go. As UNLV sitting on their 21-point lead, largest lead of the game. And Colorado State, with under 13 to go, he's starting making something happen quickly. And Moore's again on the putback. That's what he's been doing the last couple of games when given the opportunity. A lot of the dirty work.
He's a grinder. They're not going to run a lot of plays for him. He knows that. Ball goes up on the board. He's going to go after it, uses height. This isn't a very big Colorado State team. Oh, nice rebound.
Justin Webster. And here's a chance for Colorado State to chip away. Here's Rod. He just looks out of sync.
Why didn't he shoot that ball? He's 0 for 1 from 3. Like Roddy's not out of rhythm. It's not like he's having a 1 for 12 shooting night. He's only attempted 3 shots, and that's why I'm a little bit confused. He has earned the right, based on his play over 3 years, to shoot the ball. They need him to shoot the ball. They're down 19 points.
Here's McCabe.
That's a bad call.
Trying to draw contact, and Moore's really didn't move, went straight up, and that's the call in the NBA they've really gotten rid of. But Bryce Hamilton, 7 of 9 from three-point range, 30 points, going after a career-high 35. Ribs are rolling. UNLV up by 19 on Colorado State, and there appears to be no let-up in the running Rebels.
Oh, this is the last possession. Watch here, Jordan McCabe is going to shoot this ball, but watch him dive forward into the defense. This, to me, is not a foul. We are trying to eliminate that kind of play from all levels of basketball, high school, college, and the NBA. And it was not a good closeout by James Morris. He did kind of go into it, but the contact was created all by the offensive player. It was not a natural shot position. I'm not mad at UNLV's Jordan McCabe. Like, he did whatever he had to do to get a foul call. That's on the official to not get fooled in that position. But, you know, if you're a Colorado State Ram fan and you thought tonight was going to be an easy night, think again. You said, oh, UNLV, they don't really shoot the ball well. We're going to have an easy time. They are on fire. They are confident, and it's only growing by the minute.
Keyshawn Gilbert, Justin Webster in the ballgame for UNLV. And there's Webster. So David Roddy, you mentioned it earlier, he's only taken 3 shots. He's taken 1 3-pointer. That's his second, and he hits. And this is what Colorado State needs if they're going to get back into this ballgame.
They call that a drag screen. It's a pick and roll in transition. And what was interesting is David Roddy's your power forward. He's the point guard. And then who was setting the ball screen? Isaiah Stevens. That puts a lot of pressure on the defense to make decisions there.
Is blocked, but it's cleaned up by David Nwaka.
Nwaka is a guy that just makes multiple plays, right? He doesn't stop, he continues to move. And that time it was good defense initially by Colorado State, but they didn't finish it out.
Here's Roddy losing it, going behind the back. 3-on-1 for the running Rebels. And Justin Webster fouled on his way up. So he'll be going to the line. And if he makes both of these, it gives UNLV a 20-point lead. Largest lead of the game for the Run Rebels, 21. And they are trying to figure out, Colorado State is, how they can get back into this game. About 10.5 to go. And offensively, it's been a struggle for everybody not named Isaiah Stevens. Nuga hits the first, 89% free throw shooter.
Well, so Webster, his last 3 games combined, he had 9 points on 3 of 13 shooting. He already has 9 and now 10 points in this one. So yeah, Bryce Hamilton has been going nuts. All right, that's clear. He's got 30. However, like that's not enough to go on the road, right? Fort Collins and get a win. So how about Webster stepping up? How about Royce Ham Jr. stepping out, and McCabe with a couple of makes in the second half?
Down low to Roddy. And they call it before the shot. You talked about Justin Webster. His dad, Jeff, the third all-time leading scorer at Oklahoma. And he actually bonded with Kevin Kruger when he transferred from Hawaii over the fact that they're both following in their father's footsteps, which is kind of cool.
That is really cool. He's going to get a much needed and earned rest.
Rims out for Jalen Lake. Look at the three-point numbers. Not terrible from three-point land for Colorado State, but excellent for UNLV. And that was ill-advised by Mike Nuga. Too strong off the glass, and then he goes up and fouls David Roddy. Here's another look.
It was a nice up fake. Call that the slippery eel in the post. Didn't work out, though. And you know, if there's a scrum underneath the basket, David Roddy's going to be in the middle of it.
6 points, 5 rebounds, and he's taken 4 shots in the game. That's the most staggering statistic, I think, of the night.
It is. And we did their game just a couple of nights ago against Nevada, Dan. And you remember in the first half of that game, Nevada, they were late double teaming David Roddy. They were forcing him to the baseline on all of his catches. They were coming with a late double team, and he seemed befuddled in the first 20 minutes. But then in the second half, he figured it out. He came out with fire in his eyes, super aggressive, ends up with 18 points in that game. And I thought it would be the same, that he would, you know, after an 0 for 3 first half, that he would go in and say, talk to the coaches, hey, what do I need to do here? And so far, he's made a 3, but I haven't seen a lot of change in his demeanor.
Here's Hamilton trying to create on his own. And the rebound corralled by Iwako. And they're able to reset. Under 10 minutes to go in the game, 20-point lead for UNLV. Looking for their biggest win of the season. And McCabe drives on Kendall Moore. Moore called for the foul.
Some people drive just to drive. Jordan McCabe drives to seek contact. He drives with purpose, and that's the right call. We haven't heard much from Kendall Moore, the lone senior in the starting lineup, number 3 in white. And that's McCabe just put some pressure on him, and the referee had no choice but to call it.
21 now for UNLV for McCabe.
When I asked Nico Medved in our interview what is one of his keys, he said, you know, besides Bryce Hamilton, I was asking, we know Bryce Hamilton's a good scorer. What is the key other than that? And you know what he said? We got to guard them off the bounce. And that's an example. Like, we got to guard Jordan McCabe. We got to keep him in front. And they're not doing it.
Steven is fouled. You talked about McCabe. McCabe now has 7. So it's kind of been Hamilton and everybody else. Hamilton with 30. And then it's Webster and McCabe with 10 and 7. Ham's in there. Iwaka as well. And of course, Iwaka has been active too. This is one of those games where UNLV just kind of putting everything together. Is it more what they've done or what Colorado State hasn't done, Casey?
I mean, I don't want to take the easy way out there and say it's a little bit of both, but it has to be a little bit of both. You know, basketball is not, you know, just black and white. It's certainly Bryce Hamilton is playing the best basketball of his career, and he's had a remarkable career, but he hasn't had a week and a half of performances like he's put together with the efficiency
right? He put up scoring numbers, but not shooting over 51% in those games. And Colorado State defensively knew they had their hands full with Bryce Hamilton, but they haven't been able to execute a simple game plan. Try to make his catches difficult. Close them out without fouling. They have failed in almost every regard, and it is tough, folks. I understand this isn't an easy guy to guard. He's hard to stay in front of. He's a 4-level scorer. He can shoot it from 3. He's got the mid-range. He can take you off the bounce and finish at the rim. He can get to the foul line. He's long. He's athletic. I get it. And we talked about the scoring last 4 games. Look at those numbers. Look at that. And he's shooting over 50% from the field.
Yeah, he's been outstanding. You talk about those last 3 games. He averaged 28 points per game, 7 rebounds, shot over 50%. And the three-pointers, he's making 47% of the threes in the last 3. What has he done tonight? He's 8 of 11. I mean, it's incredible what Bryce Hamilton has done. And now with under 9 minutes to go, Colorado State needs to play a perfect 8 minutes and 51 seconds to have a shot here, because this man has torched him.
And he continues to.
Yeah, he is so difficult to stop when he's on. And you mentioned this earlier, 35 points is his career high. He is just 2 off of that. That came against New Mexico last year. Bryce Hamilton tested the NBA draft waters, entered the portal. Kevin Kruger didn't know if he was going to be coming back. And it's his first year in the program for Kruger. So you said once he got the call and knew that he was there, it was just, I think it was a big hallelujah that probably went up from Coach Kruger.
It's hard to win without talent. It doesn't matter if you're John Wooden, Coach K, or anyone. You got to have the talent to compete, especially in this Mountain West Conference.
I think those stats that we just saw, second chance points, tell you a whole lot about how this game has gone. Great look down low and a foul. So we're going to see Milwaukee go into the line after the make. And Milwaukee's trying to get to double digits. UNLV trying to do the impossible, trying to do what nobody else has done this season. Come into a packed Moby Arena and beat a Colorado State team that was in the top 25. They got as high as 19th in the coaches poll, 20th in the AP poll. It was their highest ranking since 1954. And we talked about this in the Nevada game. They're a couple of wins away from getting back in it. Stevens hangs and hits.
Yeah, they got 57 votes in this week's AP top 25 poll, which puts them, if you want to expand it past 25, Colorado State's 29th in the country.
And there is Rivera on the finish, so back to an 18-point game. We talked about the Rams needing to do everything perfectly as they bring some full court pressure. Cade loses the handle for a moment.
10 seconds.
10-second violation. Colorado State frustrated in the first half. You can see it. Trying to make a run. Nico Medved's guys are in the second. See if they can do it against UNLV. Point lead for the running Rebels, trying to come in here to Moby Arena and beat Colorado State for the first time this season. Sunday, the NFC Championship game presented by Intuit TurboTax Live is on Fox. And this is going to be a good one, folks. Jimmy Garoppolo and the Niners taking on Matthew Stafford and the Rams. How about the NFC Championship game in LA at SoFi Stadium? The Super Bowl, of course, is going to be at SoFi Stadium. And you know what? This just reminds me of David Rodman, his high school football career. A finalist for the Minnesota Mr. Football, and a heck of a quarterback he was. They're going to need a Superman-type effort from him here in the waning minutes of this game.
Well, you asked for it, and here it is.
There it is. Getting his own rebound, and then throwing it down. It's going to have to be the Stevens and Roddy show with a little help from their friends.
He didn't look like a quarterback there. He looked like Aaron Donald.
He did.
Trying to take out Jimmy G.
Well done. I'll bet you Aaron Donald and David Roddy are within 15 pounds of each other.
That's a good point. Honestly, Roddy could have an NFL career to me. Like, he worked on it. Tight end.
Oh, there's no doubt. Very close to the shot clock running out there. McKay just has to get rid of it.
Wow.
Quick take by Isaiah Stevens. And now it's an 8-0 scoring run. Timeout been called. This is what Colorado State's been waiting for the entire game. This is their largest run of the night.
The two leading scorers for Colorado State needed to step up. David Roddy finally getting an offensive rebound and a dunk to go down, and maybe he's a different player for the rest of this game. At least the fans here hope so. And then putting on the afterburners, Isaiah Stevens, who's had an awesome night. I mean, 23 points on 8 of 14 shooting, keeping the Rams in it. But that 1-2 punch of Stevens and Roddy, Stevens doing his part, Roddy trying to get back in it. And there's still a lot of basketball, but this deficit it's big. The 14 points is a lot.
Well, Stevens is trending towards a career high. His career high is 26, whereas David Roddy, in terms of scoring, it's near his lowest output of the season.
So, yeah, you know, Isaiah Stevens only has 1 assist tonight, and he's kind of had to take on the scoring role, right? He's not a facilitator tonight because they really need him with Roddy and his low output so far. So Isaiah, he can give you whatever you need. That's what winning players do.
Kendall Moore, checking Jordan McCabe here. There's Bryce Hamilton with the shot clock at 4, loses the handle. He's going to have to shoot it up. He drives, loses it, then puts it in. You can see Roddy wanting a shot clock violation. I think they're going to have to sort this out.
Wow, Roddy is all over the officials. Look at him. This was brilliant defense by him, by the way. That effort that he gave, he wants it to be paid off. Look at him.
Love to see the fire.
Well, I love this. I mean, and half of it is frustration, and the other half is he really knows the urgency that he has to play with. How about that strip? So what he's arguing is that the shot clock went off, right?
He's right. I believe he's right. I don't think it was that close. When he lost that ball, there was no time left on the shot clock. So Roddy is absolutely warranted here. See, there it is. Yeah, it's
yeah, it's clear. You know, sometimes I feel like the referees can't hear, you know, the horn that goes off. The referees is so loud in here in Moby Arena.
Maybe they should just have an earpiece so they can hear us.
Yeah, see the roar of the crowd, you can barely hear anything.
I think you're right. You're absolutely right. He couldn't hear it. And they're not looking, right?
Yeah, they're looking at the play.
The play on the court. What a great atmosphere at Moby Arena. You know, normally they have about 3,500 students in the student section, and it's been overflowing for most games this season. They set a record against New Mexico and told us that tonight they expected a similar type crowd, and they are absolutely out in full force for good reason. Yeah. Colorado State's been a very fun team to watch this year. I mean, not only have they been winning, they've been fun to watch while they've been doing it.
Yeah, you see it right there. Only 1 loss in this building in the last 2 seasons. That loss came to the Boise State Broncos last season. The nickname for this student section is the Herd. And right now, they're being heard.
Not the Herd as in Colin Cowherd. Different Herd in Colorado State.
FS1, no. Colin Cowherd's great.
We love Colin.
Yep.
Little dude's getting into it. Little shirts and skins game in the stands. Colorado State down by 14. Here's Stevens driving. Look at Roddy just battling.
This is the urgency that was missing from Roddy for the first 25 minutes of this game. We didn't see it.
Good defense Rivera, did he step out of bounds? What great hustle by the sophomore from Illinois, Isaiah Rivera, coming off a really strong performance against Nevada. Here's another look.
He's already got 2 steals. Oh, you see how he turned that ankle? He turned his right ankle.
That's why he was limping. Great hustle, though.
They called a foul on this.
That looks like they could have called either one there. So he'll be going to the line with a chance to make it a 12-point game, which seems a lot more palatable than where we were a couple minutes ago.
20-point game, blink of an eyeball.
But you got to make the free throws.
They're the best free throw shooting team in the Mountain West Conference. And they've been good, but not as good as they normally are. 9 for 13.
Again, letting that shot clock run down.
Shot.
Doesn't hit anything, but it's going to stay here.
The shot clock will not reset, though, because neither team gained possession.
So they're going to have 3 seconds to get a shot off.
Where's Bryce Hamilton? He's right in that Mountain West logo.
And the rebound stays here. Muwaka doing some work down low. That's his 6th rebound of the game. Foul going to be called on Muwaka as Stevens was driving.
And Royce Ham Jr., you can hear the audio. He's like, stop fouling. Stop fouling. The worst thing you can do if you're UNLV defensively is put Colorado State at the foul line. Then they can score points where they're good. We just mentioned how good they are foul shooting. And then they can set up their pressure if they want to extend it full court. They want to go 3/4 court. It's a lot harder to play that way.
Isaiah Stevens, we mentioned earlier, at 24 points on the night, closing in on a career high. And there is no doubt that he would trade that all in for a win to help Colorado State remain perfect here in Moby.
And here's that full court pressure.
Colorado State been on a 10-2 scoring run. Back to 14. Here's Hamilton. It's once again a 16-point game with 5 to go.
Once you break pressure, the tendency is to back it out. No, you got to take advantage of the numbers. That was a 2-on-1 situation.
There's Roddy. The frustration evident after that miss. They don't have the ball movement that we saw against Nevada. There's a lot of one-on-one. I think they're all thinking they have to do it by themselves, Stevens and Roddy in particular. Hamilton content to let that shot clock run down. Has some room. Stevens, little jab step, hits.
That wasn't a little jab step, partner. That was a big one. And because he's so quick, you have to honor it. If you don't, he will blow by you in a second.
.13 differential. There's plenty of time if Colorado State can get a couple of stops here. And the foul's called. It was Kendall Moore who was on the ball. Bryce Hamilton has tied a career high with 35. Colorado State behind Isaiah Stevens, trying to call it a comeback at home.
It's another Mountain West battle coming your way after the top of the hour. Boise State, Fresno State. Marcus Shaver for the Broncos will try to stop Orlando Robinson of the Bulldogs. Let's head back to Fort Collins and Dan Helling.
72-59, under 4 to go here at Moby Arena. Colorado State been playing better the last few minutes, but UNLV has just been cooking them from distance.
The recipe for an upset on the road is your star players got to have a big night check. You got to keep your turnovers low check. And in the third, you got to make some threes. And UNLV has 12 deep bombs tonight. Of course, Bryce Hamilton has 8 of them, but McCabe hit a monster one in the second half to kind of keep that distance from Colorado State. And coming into the game, those numbers on the left of the season are the worst in the Mountain West Conference. But watching this game, you wouldn't know it. They came in here guns blazing.
Colorado State has cranked up the defense as they have again. And an offensive foul called on Ham. That's 5.
He's been really key on both ends of the floor. Easy call. Nice job by David Roddy. I'm not sure what Sam was trying to do there, where he was going with that basketball. It's an easy offensive rebound. You throw it back out, you waste time, right? Time off the clock. Right now, I mean, I'm not saying UNLV has to just put their foot on the brake, but time is more valuable to them than points.
So Ham fouls out. This is Roddy from 3. That would have been big.
It's almost one of those ones you feel like, I know there's 3 minutes and 15 seconds to go, but it almost feels like they had to have that make.
That is huge. Hamilton gets the roll, will go to the line, has a career high 37.
He had a 35-point game in 2020. And this one is going to be his personal highlight reel, right? One of those ones that you get the copy, the thumb drive. Hey, I need the Colorado State game. I'll show that to my kids someday in 20 years.
That'll go from the thumb drive right onto his phone so he can pull it up whenever he needs to. And then the foul called down low. Chandler Jacobs kind of ducked and there was nowhere to go for Nuga.
But, you know, a good foul by Nuga, right? He doesn't want to hurt Chandler Jacobs, certainly not. But nothing has been easy for Colorado State. I mean, maybe that offensive rebound dunk by Roddy is the only one that comes to my mind as an easy. I think Isaiah Stevens had another one on the break. I don't think they've had to grind out everything.
Well, I thought it was interesting when we talked to Nico Medved. You know, we said, when you look at UNLV, they're 2-3 in their last 5 games, right? We talked about the roller coaster ride of a season for them. He said, you know the one thing about them? They always play hard. Kevin Kruger has them playing hard every night. Sure, they're uber athletic. Sure, they're not the best shooting team in the conference. Although tonight they've looked like it.
Yeah.
But they've played hard almost every time out. Hamilton's going to go to the line again.
You know, credit McCabe and Webster for handling the full court pressure that the Rams have put on them. And then once they get the ball across half court, they're looking for Bryce Hamilton, just allowing him to play one-on-one from the top of the key. This Mountain West Conference, Dan, is just so good. There is no off night. I mean, we just saw it a couple nights ago. Utah State, who started 1-5 in the Mountain West. The new head coach Ryan Odom, they thumped San Diego State at home. I mean, it happens.
Stevens working it down low to Roddy. Walker looked like he kind of grabbed that jersey for a minute, but Roddy was able to finish. So 13, just over 2.5 to go. It's crazy to say, but this is actually as close as it's been.
Yeah.
So McCabe's going to go to the line. We talked about the fact that This conference is uber competitive. Colorado State 16-1, their lone conference loss to San Diego State. It was one of those weird games where they beat Mississippi State, they had a 24-day pause, and then their first game back was San Diego State.
Not the place you probably want to be knocking off rust, the Viejas Arena.
That's a tough place to play. Roddy thinks about it and then decides to drive left hand and in. So we are at an 11-point deficit, very doable at about the 2-minute mark. But they're going to need to start hitting some threes, getting some stops.
And you mentioned it. Roddy thought about that. Now, you know, it works out, but I'm not sure why he's hesitating. Roddy is an excellent three-point shooter. The numbers indicate that. He's worked on his game. Now shooting a career-high 46% from deep. Not sure. I mean, he's 1 for 3 tonight, and he just looks like he's unsure of himself. At this point, you just let it go. You need threes more than you need twos, honestly.
You know, some of the statistical markers for UNLV coming into this one. They needed to rebound. They're 10-0 when they out-rebound their opponent. They needed to lead at the half. Check. They're 10-1 when leading at the half, and they're 9-1 when they shoot better. I know those are all kind of obvious stats there, but they check every one of those boxes so far. And now they have an 11-point lead with 2 to go. Pressure coming from Colorado State. And here's Hamilton getting fouled. He will have a chance to add to his 38-point total.
Oh, he's going to have a chance for 40 or more tonight.
He may be able to get 45.
Yeah, I don't know how many players in college basketball this season, definitely not off the top of my head, who have had 40 this year. I know Kansas All-American Ochai Agbaji had 37 the other night for Kansas last week in the Big 12, but I can't remember anybody with 40. Am I jinxing them right now?
No.
Should I just stop talking?
This just leads me to teeing you up on your career high. I know what it is, of course.
No one cares about my career high.
I mean, you almost went for 50.
Yeah, I had 49, but, you know, I'm washed up. This is Bryce Hamilton's time. Let's let him
what
shine.
A night, and he does have 40 now. As Stevens pulls from distance, Rivera grabs the rebound, and he's fouled by Justin Webster. So this is for a UNLV team that has been struggling to find consistency. I mean, this is a team that at one point lost 5 out of 6 games. The only win they had during that run was against Whittier. And they just have so many transfers that the gelling process doesn't come instantaneously. And it's something that Kevin Kruger knew. 9 transfers, 8 are D1 guys, 10 of their 13 scholarship players in their first season with the Running Rebels.
It's a lot to put on a first-year head coach, right? He's young. Kevin Kruger, been around the game forever, but still, what a challenge in his first year. And in this conference, too, man. But he's not the only one, right?
Look at all these new coaches. You got Ryan Odom and Tim Miles of San Jose State, Richard Pitino with New Mexico. And in terms of the rookie coaches here, the newbies.
He's performing.
He's right up there at the top.
You know, it reminds me of Oregon. The Oregon Ducks, Dana Altman, they took on a lot of transfers this year. They were expected to be really good out of the gate, and they just weren't. But don't look now. Look at what Oregon has been able to do in the Pac-12 over the last 3 weeks. They beat USC, beat UCLA.
Well, and let's not forget, I mean, I don't think we've talked about this enough. UNLV is playing without their second leading scorer, Donovan Williams. He's not here. And Bryce Hamilton has strapped this entire team on his back and put up 40 points. And you mentioned it, he's going to get fouled a few more times. He's not done yet. You know, it's funny, one of the words that Nico Medved used to describe Bryce Hamilton was slithering. because he's always spinning in the lane. He has the ability to work his way through double teams and kind of slice through. But we haven't seen a ton of that because he's been so efficient from three-point range. 8 of 13 from beyond the arc.
Colorado State has to go really quick. Obviously, they are running out of time. They need threes and possessions that are under 5 seconds each.
Oh, the block.
Oh, he traveled there. Changed his pivot foot right underneath the basket. They missed it.
Yeah, you can see the perplexed look coming from Chandler Jacobs. I believe it was a Wacko that went up and got that block.
So we've talked ad nauseum about Bryce Hamilton and his 41-point game so far. But how about this? 7 rebounds, 4 assists, only 1 turnover. I mean, come on, man. On the road.
Incredible. Colorado State has been perfect here thus far and has been anything but a perfect performance tonight. And you look at the upcoming schedule. Listen, the rest of the way for Colorado State is no walk in the park. You have Wyoming, who's 15-3.
Graham E.K. and Hunter Maldonado, by the way, 2 studs.
Matt Bradley in San Diego State.
Yep.
You got to go to Nevada, who of course has Grant Sherfield, then Fresno State. I mean, most of the teams on their schedule the rest of the way are in the top half of the conference.
This might be it here.
And fouled hard on his way up was Keyshawn Gilbert. He'll be going to the line. Freshman, the only teenager on this roster for UNLV.
Yeah, this UNLV team is old. And they don't have any continuity, but they're old. Except for this young man right here. Gilbert getting in on the action, trying to earn more minutes. That's how you do it. Defense, creating offense.
Gilbert ended up being the only freshman in his recruiting class. They actually had a couple of other four-star prospects that didn't end up playing at UNLV, so he's it. And there's Isaiah Stevens.
He's got a career high.
He does, and we're going to see another foul with Hamilton going to the line once again. Isaiah Stevens has been outstanding. 10 of 18 from the field, 4 3-pointers, 30 points. And it's hard because people don't remember those career highs when you don't win.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, he's going to remember it.
Well, he's going to remember it.
And in the record books, when it goes in there, they don't say whether or not you won or lost.
That's true. It'll
but
take
he doesn't
a minute.
care, though, honestly. Let's be real about it. Isaiah Stevens is a winner. He's not out here looking up at the board, seeing how many points I have. He's trying to get to an NCAA tournament for the first time in his career. And this performance, if it doesn't help them get there, he's not happy with it.
So 47 points tonight from Bryce Hamilton is the second most scored this season in college basketball. Darius McGee from Liberty scored 48 against Florida Gulf Coast University. And of course, everybody knows Florida Gulf Coast University because
Dunk City, Andy Enfield.
Andy Enfield, whose name is being thrown around for that Louisville job.
I mean, how about Maryland? You know, has an interim coach. I know Danny Manning's the interim coach there at Maryland, but Maryland and Louisville might, like, 2 of the biggest jobs in America, might have openings this offseason.
You know, it's interesting because when people think, both are basketball schools, by the way. I'm from Maryland. I grew up there back when the Terps were in the ACC. Which is a more desirable job to you?
Oh, I mean, that depends. It's like, there's so much more to these college basketball head coaching jobs than just coaching basketball, right?
Point.
You are, you know, you represent your state and your community more than ever. I mean, I would say, though, however, I would say that Louisville is probably the more prestigious job and has the most upside, I would say. Like, the ACC has not been good this year. Stevens now is 32.
A couple of career highs tonight for Isaiah Stevens and Bryce Hamilton. And Hamilton, as we mentioned, with 47, second most points scored in college basketball this year. He's one away from matching the season high. He's been doing a bit of everything as Hamilton, but the one thing that's really stood out is what he has done from distance as he's driving here a couple of times. 8 3-pointers in the game for Hamilton, but he's hitting everything.
Everything. He's got to the line 15 times tonight. He's rebounding, he's passing. It's not like he's forced a ton. He's had a couple of shots where I was like, oh, I don't know about that one. But go ahead, 47. And the record, Elbert Miller, I'm not sure Bryce Hamilton even thought that he could get to 55 and possibly break that record. Certainly not before this game in Fort Collins, Colorado.
UNLV, as we talk about their schedule coming up, taking on Nevada here on FS1 here in a couple of days. And it's certainly no cakewalk, but slightly easier, at least on paper, than what Colorado State is facing. And this could be, you know, it was interesting. When we talked to Kevin Kruger, he said, you know, this is going to be tough. We're missing a few guys. We're just going to be throwing mud against the wall and see if it sticks here. I mean, he really downplayed this game, and he's going to walk out of here tonight as the only team to have beaten Colorado State on this court, and the biggest win of the year, and a little momentum.
Oh, massive momentum. They just fixed the clock. That's what the delay was before this possession.
I mean, selfishly, and I'm not a selfish person, but if I'm Bryce Hamilton, I want to hold on to it for just a little bit longer. So a 13-point deficit here with Justin Webster going the line. We talked about his dad, played at Oklahoma. Who's an honorable mention all-conference player was Justin at Hawaii last year when he was their leading scorer. Out of all the transfers that UNLV has this year, 9 of them, he's by far the most accomplished coming in terms of what he achieved on the college level. And Roddy airmails it over the head of Jalen Lake. That's the kind of night it's been for one of the best players in this conference.
And one of the best passers, too, right? Quarterback. That one would have been intercepted by the strong safety.
So it does look like Hamilton's been knocked down to 45 points. There was an extra 2 that was added in there somewhere from the official statistician.
Well, he's scoring so many, it's hard to keep track.
It is.
The exclamation point on this game. I mean, Stevens has been brilliant, but that was just a wide open layup. That rims out.
Not a whole lot going right. Hopefully Mike Nuga's okay. He's kind of grabbing his knee, went down awkwardly there with just over 9 seconds to go in the game, and he hops up and is able to walk off the court. Can't say enough about what UNLV has done coming in here with a team that has transfers coming in from all over the place, and was just looking for something to go right. Playing without 3 players tonight. Marvin Coleman, Josh Baker, and Donovan Williams. 2 of those guys were starters for much of the season. And here you have...
You see how he turned his entire body? Oh, he shot that? Really interesting by Nuga.
Stevens again. He has 35. That's his 5th 3-pointer of the night. And UNLV, with their biggest win of the season, 88-74. Next up, a trip to Nevada. What a game it was for the Runnin' Rebels, doing something no other team has done in Fort Collins. For Casey Jacobson and our entire Fox Sports Crew staff.